know my usual. Evening, afternoon, whatever it is for you. Hello, and welcome to my YouTube channel. So today, it is a little more chilly this morning, so I decided to step inside and do a video from, pretty nice, right? Pretty nice. I'll tell you, today I want to talk about skipping to the end. So in a previous video, I was chatting a little bit about how I've had some situations happen to me where I'll do something that might injure myself, and injuries can drag on, right? If you've ever had whiplash in your neck, I tend to have a very long neck, so I have a history of being familiar with different levels of whiplash or neck kinks. And if you've ever had a neck kink, you wake up in the morning or whatever and you don't even know how you did it. But for the next 2 weeks or so, you're trying, every time you turn to look, you have to use your whole body, right? You have to be like, and it makes driving really hard. So skipping to the end is about understanding this is going to pass, right? Whatever this is, maybe a cold, maybe I was using the example, I was choking the other night really badly. What is it about the neck? And in this moment of dealing with whatever it is, you stubbed your toe, whatever, you do know you're gonna, sooner or later, this will pass and you're gonna go on with life. But in the meantime, I have to sit here and I have to suffer through whatever it is. Well, no, not necessarily. You can skip to the end, right? And that's exactly what I was talking to you guys about in the previous video, is how I would decide, no, I don't have the time for this. I don't have the desire to play with this. And in that moment, I drop whatever it is and I revise. If we need to have a label, revision works well. I'll revise the whole situation. So I'll either revise it that I'm now at the end, I'm no longer choking and all is well and now on to the next thing, or that whatever just happened didn't even happen. And another revision thing that I've talked about that I've done before with you guys is when I was selling, I was working at a job where I had to sell these hunger bags. And they're just bags full of food for needy families. And I just, in my mind, I revised that everybody I asked, hey, would you like to purchase one of these? Always said yes, always said yes. And that just kind of blew up on its own into some really crazy fun situation. And I think that's what hooked me into revision. I have always done stuff like this, but I never had a name for it. And then, of course, being reintroduced into Neville Goddard and really reading his books. He blips on revision. He doesn't really go into it very big, but or maybe he does, and I just haven't come across that book yet. But yeah, so revision, and so I adopted the name Revision because that works, and I love it. And it is such a wonderful, useful tool, but it's bigger than this for us, guys. In every nano moment, this very next minute, when I'm going to talk about the next thing, or when you're done with this video and you turn it off and go on to the next thing or whatever, you're shifting to another reality. You can call it shifting to another universe, dimension, whatever. You're just shifting. You're in the middle of a shift to a whole new state of being. And in that moment, you have the decision to throw over your shoulder a bag full of crap from your past and drag it along with you and have it continue on with you in this whole new reality, that has all new possibilities for you. It has all these gifts that it's going to give to you anyway. You're going to get these gifts anyway. There's nothing you can do to stop these gifts, but you can schlep all your shit along with you. Well, what do I mean by shit? I don't know. What is it that you think or say or discuss with people that just doesn't feel good? Doesn't feel exciting and fun and magical and wondrous and delightful. You know, those are there for you, and they're waiting in the very next now to embrace you and play with you and have fun. But if you've ever, let's say you used to play baseball and you were okay. You weren't great, but you were okay. And in this moment right now, somebody who you really like, maybe have a crush on, wants you to come play baseball just for fun. Let's just go play baseball for fun. Now, in that moment, here is this opportunity for you to play like a whole different person that you don't even recognize. Or you could schlep with you the old memory, I call it backstories, the old backstory that, oh, I'm not really any good at this. And so what was presented to you as a really fun opportunity is now being damped down, squashed down into something that's probably not going to be as fun as it could be. That wasn't the best example, but it works, okay? So, like a lot of people will, oh, the government, this and that. Or, you know, if you're always seeing the government as corrupt, in this very next moment, you could actually have the government prove to you that it's not corrupt, that it loves you and it wants to do so much for you, and it's willing to pave your roads beautifully, and if electricity's down, it gets your electricity up quickly, and it just really bends over backwards for you. In all opportunities, in all moments, you've got a whole new universe waiting to play with you, waiting to answer your prayers. But what are you schlepping into? I like using this word this morning, schlepping. Maybe this is going to be the title of the video. It's kind of a fun word. What are you dragging in? And how can you be aware without going overboard? How can you go into each now moment without being like, okay, I gotta be aware. I gotta be aware what it is I'm doing. I gotta be careful, because I don't want my world to be, even that is dragging something with you that you don't need to do anymore. Number one, have a little faith in yourself. You are fantastic. There is a version of you that everybody sees. That when people meet you for the first time, they have an assumption about you. They stamp onto you a state of being. So this is a great case in point. For those of you that don't know me, and you're seeing me for the first time, and you're seeing this beautiful background, you might have all sorts of assumptions about me. I'm okay with those. I'll take them. It might be the assumptions of, my gosh, she lives in, let me see if I can get the outside. Oh, there you go. You get to see the trees a little bit better. Yeah. Oh my gosh, she lives in paradise. Oh my God, look at that beautiful home. You've got all these assumptions. People look at you and they assume your age, and they assume a whole background about you, a whole story. You can't not do that. You can't look at anything and not immediately slap on a story. And in that moment, that story is very accurate. You're so amazing. You have just created a whole world that person actually exists in, lives in. You really do. We are fantastic. Gosh, this is a new aha for me right now, and it's just pouring in right now. So just kind of bear with me for a minute. Wow, I really love this. So in each moment that we go forward, we have no idea what's going to happen. Like right now, in this next nano moment, I call it the unknown. A lot of people call it the leading edge or whatever, but we have no idea what's going to happen. I could have an airplane could fall on my house right now and just squash me. anything can happen right now. Anything. We have no idea, right? But you do go forward into this next now moment with some idea of what is going to happen. Like me, I woke up this morning and I went into my kitchen, and even though I wasn't seeing the kitchen, in my mind, okay, the kitchen looks like this, and here's the coffee makers over here, da-da-da-da-da. And in that moment, you're creating, and you walk into the kitchen and there it all is. So you are creating. Well, you do this all day long. Every human being you come across, every single human being you come across, whether you're giving yourself the story that I know this person or you don't know this person, you are slapping a story on them. You are creating a state of being, a world that now they live in. And that world never existed before until that moment when you just did that. And we call this judging a book by its cover, right? That's okay. Because most people, and you might think this isn't true, and that's cool because that's you creating your own little world. But most people, when they meet you, they are creating a fantastical, amazing, beautiful story for you. And in that moment, you have the opportunity to step into that fantastical story. When you see somebody who's dressed a certain way, you slap on a story for them. When you see somebody who, we are always creating these fantastical stories. Now, you do the same thing with every room you walk into of your house, every time you get into your car and you're driving down the road, you're creating all these stories. You're always in this creation mode, okay? You have the opportunity to shift that at any time. You have the opportunity to come up against your greatest enemy and give them a whole new story. Now, again, we call this revision, right? Especially if it's somebody you know. You can give them the story of they called you up and apologized profusely and said whatever, okay? Or you can schlep all your old shit of them being your enemy right forward into this next moment and continue the game of they are my enemy. You have all these opportunities. You are stunning. You are amazing. Now, the thing here is this: play. I always use the example of sandboxes because when I was little, the sandbox was my escape. That was my place to go into, and I could create a whole world in my one little sandbox. I could suddenly be on the moon or in a forest with unicorns or whatever, and I was just sitting in my sandbox. But the thing is this: no matter how you go forward into your life, do it from that sense of play. Let your little inner child out, because your inner child knows how to do this way better than you do. Your inner child hasn't forgotten how to play, how to turn that outside world into some magical space at all times. And guys, we're doing this all the time when we're not paying attention, okay? But that's another video. So what I want to do is just invite you to take a different story forward. So let's say you have, I'm going to say a skin cancer situation. Just a little thing that you need to go to the doctor and get it fixed. But you just don't have the time for that. You don't have the desire for that. And something new is drawing up, okay? So let's say you look down and there's that skin cancer. And you're like, okay, I want to take a new story forward. I want to revise that there's nothing there, that my skin is clear as can be. Or maybe you're going to revise that you've already gone to the doctor. You went to the doctor yesterday and they fixed it and it's all gone. You get to choose the story. But today, you're looking down and there it is. And you're thinking, God, this revision isn't working. Easy. I call those echoes. Whoop. And I call that an alarm. You guys that know me know that I do that. That is another, and I'm just going to shift here off the echoes for a second. I set my alarm for random times throughout the day, and each alarm has a label, like, I don't know, make up anything, something wonderful, think of who you want to be. Like one of my girlfriends wants to do a TED Talk. She wants to be up on a TED stage and do a TED Talk. So her label of her alarm would be, oh my gosh, the TED Talk I did yesterday was fantastic. And, just anything to lift your mood in that moment and remind you that you are constantly creating. What do you want to take forward into this next now? And in that moment, it would be the memory of the TED Talk I just did. Or they just called you and whatever, that to set 10 alarms throughout the day to just go off. And it could even just say joy, 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 or anything to shift your mood. That's it. All right. So echoes. So you look down, you still see that skin cancer. That's just an echo. But remember, echoes fade. Right? If you've ever yelled you're sitting on a cliff and you yell, the echo that comes back the first time might be kind of loud. And then the next one's a little less, the next one's a little less, and the next one's a little less. And at any time you can turn away from that echo and give it none of your attention anymore. Even though there's a part of you that still kind of hears it, you can always turn away and do a different echo. Turn slightly and yell out a different echo. And that's something you can always do with this little skin cancer by giving it zero attention other than, oh, you're still there. It's just an echo. And immediately allowing, okay, this is the big key, allowing the next fun thing that wants to come to you to come. You don't always have to be the person to do the revision. Revisions can pop up and you're like, whoa, that's going to be a fun idea. Let's do that. So a lot of times I'm sitting out on the deck out there and a bird will go by. I'll be in the middle of a very serious video or something, and here comes a bird, or here comes a squirrel or a chipmunk or something just to distract me and maybe make me go fun. And in that moment, I'm kind of analyzing which one was more fun, the video I'm doing or the lighter energy of that chipmunk doing something silly. Last night I was sitting in the jacuzzi outside. Beautiful. It's just such a stunning place to be in, and to sit outside in a jacuzzi with trees all around me. And I had this little bird, this little fat little bird. I don't even know what it was. And he was just sitting there and he wouldn't move. And in that moment I could play with, oh, he's just there. Or I could play with, ooh, I wonder if something's wrong with him. Is he okay? And all those different things came up. And the energies of, oh, I wonder if he's okay. Is there something wrong with him? I didn't want to play with those energies. They were just old echoes. And I didn't need to know where they came from or why. I was just like, yeah, don't want to go forward. He's just kicking. Maybe he's even taking a nap, or she, or whatever. And the funny thing was, as long as I had the jets on, he was just sitting there. The minute I turned the jets on, he flew away. So I think he thought he was playing, that he was in the jacuzzi with me, enjoying it. He had some aches and pains. Guys, life is always fun. And you can always skip to the end. You don't have to play this game. A long time ago, I had a court case for an unemployment situation. And I chose to skip to the end. And in the end, the judge and I were happily talking, and it all turned out wonderfully. And that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened. And that's another video. But you always have this opportunity to revise what's going on around you. What's happening? Where am I at? You always have the opportunity not to go forward in the next moment the way you have, the way that doesn't feel fantastic and wonderful and delightful. And anytime it feels like effort Anytime it feels like what you're doing is effortful, back off. That's an echo unto itself. It should always feel fun. Remember, we want the energy of play. And in that moment, all you have to do is invite that energy to come forward. And it will come forward amazingly and at the right time. When I whacked my head really hard to the point where it knocked me to my knees and really rang my bell, the idea to revise it popped up. It wasn't because I practice this wonderfully every day and I'm so responsible and every morning I sit there and I meditate and remind myself, I don't do any of that shit. I don't do any of that stuff. It popped up at the right time and reminded me, you can revise this. Because there's a chance, there's the opportunity to play in the drama of that injury. Or there's the opportunity to go, I don't need that drama. I would rather not. And neither's right or wrong. It's you and your preferences. And my preference right now is to drink my coffee. All right. So as you go forward and you are creating beautiful realities, you're creating a wonderful reality for this person. And you're creating a wonderful reality for that situation over there or whatever. Pay attention. Pay attention. And I'm going to end on this. I know it's a weird sound. Sorry, playing. I don't even know what that sound could have been. As you're interacting with people, invite what they think of you in. Invite yourself to play in that world. Okay? Now, I know right now you might have this little something coming up going, but what if they hate me? What if they're thinking of me in a bad way? Trust me, honeys. That is not, no, that's not. No. When you come up to a stranger, truly, are you thinking bad things about them? No, you're not. Okay? You're not. If catastrophe was to happen here in this world, would you be a looter? Would you go around and set things on fire and do all those bad things? No, you wouldn't. Okay? So let's let that go. Let's just let all that fear, all that worry, all of that go. And let's rewrite a story that everybody that comes across you has something wonderful, a wonderful gift to give you. A wonderful thought about you to give you. And in that moment, you are invited to take on that gift. If they think, wow, she must be rich, take it on. Say yes. Just say yes to that gift. It's like somebody handing you a wrapped up gift with a big bow on it. Say yes. They're giving it to you. Take it. It's all around you. Everybody that interacts with you is handing you gifts. And that's good enough. All right. I love you guys. See you on the next time around.